It's pouring down rain right now. The weather is horrible. It makes me think about all the buyers in today's market, and I'm really sorry. It's been on my mind a lot. I wrote an article recently on it, and the reason I think about you guys, the buyers, I just want to apologize. We're in a time in real estate that is so different than normal, where sellers are able to get all the money in the world for their homes, and there's just a very shortage of inventory. And the reason I say the rain makes me think about you guys, I remember not too long ago, I went to a property that was pretty far. In a normal market, that house would probably get maybe one or two showings every week or two, not that many showings. And when I was at the showing, it was pouring down rain. I was there, I was waiting for my clients, and it was it was raining so hard. Even with our umbrellas and the wind, we were still getting soaked. But when we got to that house, um, it was about 40, there were about 40 people, maybe even more, separate buyers waiting to see that house. And since the line was so long, we waited in our cars for it to go down a bit. But I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how many people were looking at this home that in the past no one would be looking at. And it made me write something down. And I never ever forget. I'm talking to you buyers out there, how long you take to look at properties. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have apps on your phone, whether it's Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, Trulia, Compass, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, whoever your agent is, or whatever real estate website that you like. I know that you guys spend hours and hours of looking at hundreds of properties, getting those notifications, when something new has come on the market in the neighborhoods that you're looking for that meets your criteria. I know that you guys spend tons of time before you send me, looking at hundreds of properties before you send me 3 to 5 to 6 properties that you'd like to see. And I know that every time. I know that unfortunately, when I call these agents, that many of them are going to say it's one of a few things. One, the property's under contract, it's sold already. Two, that they already have an offer, but they'll be happy to show it for a backup offer. Three, that it can only be shown at certain times. And I know that when I call you back and I tell you that, I'm sorry, that this property is not available, or even worse, not worse, but, probably just as bad, that, this property can only be shown on 2 2:15 on a Thursday, a time I know that you're working on, or a time at night at 7 o'clock, or a time in the weekend where I know you had plans to do stuff and you had to cancel them because the time was inconvenient, and you had to, that was the only time you could see this property that you picked out, that you and your family liked. And I know that after you see that property, the ones that you actually like, that look as good in person as they do in the photos, that you probably go home, you, your family, if you have kids, if you have someone else in your family, there's another decision maker. You guys, if you guys looked at it and you really liked it a lot, that night, you're probably thinking about it still. And if we put in an offer that day or the next day, you're probably thinking about the property a lot. At night, you're probably thinking about it before you go to sleep. You're imagining, the future memories you're having in it, the time that how the house would look when you have all your furniture in it. Just a lot of thoughts you've probably put into that property. And I know in the morning when you wake up, you're probably thinking about those same exact things. Maybe your kids are telling their friends about this property that they saw. And I know when we put in that offer on the property, there's a good chance that we won't get an answer about our offer for maybe 1 to 3 days or more. And I never forget that during those times, you're probably thinking about your offer, that home, that change of life, making that move to another property, how it's going to change. I know that you're probably thinking about that 24/7. And it just kills me. And I do it because I have to call you and tell you that, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Someone else got the property. And I know that offer that you probably gave was a great offer in a normal market. It would have been the best offer by far. But because of this market, sometimes we're forced to do things as buyers. And I don't like doing them, but we have to do whatever it takes. If you really want the property and you ask me to call up that other agent and ask them, what do we need to do to get this property? And although that agent won't tell us everything, they'll tell us, you can't have an inspection contingency, you can't have an appraisal contingency, sometimes not even a finance contingency. And I don't want to tell you to do those things, but sometimes you tell me to do them. You tell me, what, we'll waive the inspection contingency, the appraisal contingency. Worst case, we'll pay cash. We'll waive the finance contingency. I hate telling you those things, but it's my job to tell you those things. And unfortunately, in this market, sometimes we have to do those things to get a property. So I just wanted to tell you this. I'm really sorry that multiple times you probably put in many, many, many offers to get a property, and you got your heart broken because the property that maybe your son or daughter or you or your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is, really fell in love with that property. And you guys were feeling really great about it. And then you didn't get the property. So I'm really, really, really sorry. All all the grief, everything that you had to deal with during this time. And if you don't have to buy a property at this time, don't buy it. But I know some of you are forced to buy it now. And I know that some of you, because of this time, you're settling because you're getting relocated. You're settling for properties that you don't want, and you're forced to pay way more than you normally would. So I can't say sorry enough. I'm not going to promise you that the first property that we look at, I'm going to get you under contract and we're going to be able to get that home for you. I can't, no one else can. There are too many other variables. But what I can promise you is I'm never going to forget just how many people are going to be impacted by your decision to move. I'm never going to forget all the things that you've done and that you're dealing with. And I promise you, I promise you, I promise you that me, Jade, Will, the rest of the team, we're going to do everything possible to get you into the home that you want. And we're never going to forget the journey that you've been on and are on. And I just want to give you some hope because, what you're dealing with, there's going to be a time when everything just clicks and we're going to get you that home that you really want. I promise you that. So thanks so much for hanging in there. And it's okay sometimes to take a break. If you're looking for properties and it's just too much, too overwhelming, take a break. Tell me or your agent, I want to take a week or 2 weeks or a couple months, however long it is, to just sit back, relax, because this should be a pleasurable experience. And I know it's not during this time as a buyer. So do what's best for you. And I will understand 100% of the time. The team will understand. And hopefully your agent, if it's not us, will as well. So sorry again. Thanks so much. Things will get better. And we totally understand what you're going through. All the best. Love you guys.